Welcome to Q&A Thursday. You ask your questions and I do my best to answer them. This week's question comes from Dana and she asks, is it necessary for virtual assistants to have their own insurance? This is a great question and it's one that comes up pretty often. First and foremost, let's talk about the different types of personal, professional insurances that you might want to have and why you might want to have them. In the unlikely, and I truly mean unlikely event that a client sues you, having professional insurance does prevent your client from suing your personal assets. So let's break that down. What does that mean? Let's imagine that I'm working with my client, Henry, and I accidentally delete an entire database of all of Henry's own clients. I accidentally go in and I have deleted his professional contacts. I've accidentally deleted all his invoices. I've accidentally deleted all his work. Basically, his whole business has just gone down the tubes because I accidentally trashed it. Henry might, in this case, rightly feel that he has the right to sue me because I have caused his business irreparable harm. If I did not have insurance, Henry could go after my personal assets. That means if I own a home, if I own a car, if I have money in my bank account, Henry can sue me, and I may, if we end up going to court and a judge finds that I am in fact guilty of ruining Henry's business and putting him in an irreparable, repairable place, he can sue me and he goes after my own personal assets. If I had insurance, however, Henry would sue me and my business insurance would put a buffer basically between my own personal assets. And what would happen is insurance would kick in and would cover certain amounts of money. So let's say I have an insurance policy that covers up to $1 million. Let's say if Henry sues me, then I will be covered, at least monetarily, by the insurance company. The insurance company will be the one that is paying Henry for the damages that I perhaps owe him. So short and sweet answer is insurance helps give a little extra protection between you and your business. If you have a lot of assets, if you have your own home, if you have cars, then you may want to consider having some sort of professional business insurance. Now, the reason that I started this video and I said in the unlikely event is because I truly believe that as remote workers, it is highly improbable and unlikely that you are going to mess up someone's business so badly remotely that they sue you. Something like that, I can't even fathom happening. Having said that, I do feel that if you had an in-person business or you did any sort of assistance in person, let's say, for example, you work for Henry as a virtual assistant, but pretend that Henry, your client, is in your same city and Henry asks you to come into his home or his business once a week at least. In that instance, insurance becomes a no-brainer because if you are in Henry's home and you, bump into his table and you knock over his $10,000 laptop, you're on the hook for paying that. So I do find that if you're more in-person or accident-prone, insurance is a no-brainer. However, I just want you to think about whether or not you feel that you need any sort of insurance if you're fully virtual. Now, let's get even a little more specific about insurances. If you are working as a sole proprietor in the United States, if you are working using your social security number, meaning you don't necessarily have an LLC or any formal type of business entity. You're just working for yourself, you pay your taxes, and you write your social security number in there. If that is you, then you don't have any additional protection. In this instance, if you are working under your social security number, you might want to have some kind of business insurance. However, if you are working under an LLC, let's say you started your virtual assistant business and you formed an LLC, you are actually given some extra protection, in which case you might not need insurance after all. If you still feel like professional business insurance is right for you, there is one major company that you've probably heard of more frequently, and that is called Hiscox. Or perhaps you've even heard of their underwriter, InsuranceBee. InsuranceBee actually underwrites, meaning they write the policies for Hiscox, so it's kind of one and the same company. Either way, This is a very popular option for many virtual assistants, and that's because they're one of the few that actually writes insurance for fully remote people. That's because most companies don't feel the need, just like I said, if you're not doing anything in person, they don't really feel the need to insure fully remote work. So Hiscox does insure fully remote, and you can get policies around $28, maybe $30 a month. Now, $30 a month is actually a great price to have some sort of protections on your side. If you are still interested in business insurance, what you probably want to be looking into specifically is the professional liability insurance. Professional liability insurance is also called errors and omission, or in some cases, indemnity insurance. But rest assured, they are all the same thing. Before I end this video, I just want to reiterate, can you start working or work as a virtual assistant without liability insurance? And the answer is yes, you can. If you don't have any clients at all, or you don't necessarily know how long it might take you to get your first client, I say start working with your clients first before you start paying for any sort of professional liability insurance. You can buy insurance anytime. In fact, you could be working as a VA for 10 years before you get your insurance policy. So my suggestion, as always, is keep your overhead low and make sure that you're actually needing insurance before you start paying for it. So I hope this helps make you feel a little more comfortable, or at least gives you food for thought. Think about what I said about an LLC protecting you versus working under your own social security number as a sole proprietor. Think about, do you have assets that are worth protecting? And again, think about essentially what is a kind of a long shot. It is, my voice is disappearing. It's very rare in this day and age, especially with so many remote workers. I think it's very rare that you will find yourself in some sort of legal situation with your clients. So just something to think about. I hope this gives you food for thought. Thank you so much for your question. And if you have any questions about your business, feel free to email me, leave me a comment on this video. I am always happy to help answer your questions. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.